Action Sports, only on your World of Champions, Supersport. Proudly brought to you by Action Cricket, Action Netball and Action Soccer.
On Action Sports this month, all the highlights from the Action Netball Tri-Nations Tournament in Nelspruit. Stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome from me, Arnold Gens, to yet another jam-packed episode of Action Sports. Our attention this month is here at the Nelspruit Action Sports Arena for the recently held Action Netball Tri-Nations Test Series between South Africa, Australia and England. But before we get going with the on-court action, I asked Ruan from the Nelspruit Action Sports Arena what makes their arena and area so special, and we also managed to speak to some of the administrators.
Volgens die goeie atmosfeer wat ons hier so het in Nelspruit en natuurlik het ons die Kruger Nasionale Park. Ons het Swaziland wat naby is, Mosambiek wat alles in die omgrensende lyne van Nelspruit is en obviously ek dink Nelspruit is een van die beste plekke in ons land. Ons het wonderlike weer hierso en die groenigheid in die berge.
The hospitality that we've had here has been awesome. The players got on really well with the Australian and the South African players. In terms of the experience, the conditions are very different from the UK, where it's winter now, and here it's very hot in Nelspruit. But our players had a never-say-die attitude, and you could actually see them improve as the week went on.
It's a wonderful thing to have England back. The absence of a couple of years, and Greg Van Leeuwen and the staff in England should be commended on the effort that they've put in to get these sides here, and hopefully it'll grow again even further.
I always enjoy the tournaments, they get better and better as we come along. This is probably the best one I've attended.
First up on court, the final in the girls under 18 between South Africa and the Aussies.
We had a lot of talking last night about how we could come around their height and their speed, and we have decided that we would play front and push the ball out and really block it up through defence to help our defend.
Ek hou verskriklik daarvan om uit te gaan op 'n challenge op 'n game.
Finally, with everything said and done, the starting buzzer sounded and a week of 8 international matches came to a head here in the final match in the girls under 18. The format of the tournament was a round-robin competition where 3 teams played each other 4 times, and with the top 2 teams qualifying for the grand final. The teams from England were made up mostly from outdoor netball players, and even though they came up short on most of their matches played on this tour, the competition was tough, and South Africa and Australia had to play well to reach the final. Before the tournament, the under-18s from Down Under had never lost an international action or indoor netball match. Quite an achievement. But we're pleased to tell you, what would a visit to our shores be without experiencing a defeat? The South African girls played extremely well in the round-robin stages, beating England 4 times and also beating the Aussies twice and drawing the 3rd game against them to finish top of the log. But as we all know, when it comes to a final, previous match results don't count for much, as the teams squared up for the last time on this tour. Australia's lasses started off well, setting a high pace in the match. But our girls knew that if they could manage to stay close to the Aussie score, anything could happen in the dying moments of the match. The ball travelled up and down the court with regularity, and neither team was able to pull away from the other. With time running out for the first half, Australia were ahead on the board by the smallest of margins, 10 points to 9. Let's break away from the action quickly to speak to tournament referee Zach Botha and 1 or 2 other players.
On skills level, I think we are quite close. Australia and South Africa, there's no real difference anymore. We've brought up the play, and it's all about the mindset now.
The difference, God, is so much faster indoor. It's just a lot more aggressive as well, and everyone wants it a lot more, and I think everyone will be taking that back into their outdoor game.
The speed is phenomenal. The quick passes, quick short passes, hard passes into the space, they're constantly moving, they're constantly in the space. It's fantastic.
The standard of play was a lot higher than I think any of us expected, but we rose the challenge and I'm very proud of us.
After a team chat at the break, the South African girls knew that this match was wide open. But the Aussies came out with all guns blazing after the break, scoring first and keeping the pressure on South Africa's under-18 girls to keep up with the pace and on the scoreboard. The girls from the land of the Wallaby kept up their level of play and managed to pull away slightly on the scoreboard through some swift handling and great support play. The South Africans knew that once the lead goes over 10 points, victory would be very difficult to attain here in the capital of the Mpumalanga province. Earlier in the week, South Africa achieved the biggest win of the under-18 category when they managed to hammer England by 80 goals to 8. In total, over the 8 matches they played, the girls from England had a goal difference of more than 400, something they would rather like to forget quickly. But the experience their team gained is vital for the upcoming Action Netball World Cup in June 2008, which will be held on the Gold Coast of Australia. But getting back to the under-18 final between Team South Africa and Australia, the final proved to be one of the best matches of the tournament for the Aussies, with their skill level at its peak and with these girls almost making no unforced errors. Our young ones had an uphill battle in this one for the victory. With the sands of the hourglass running out fast, the lead on the board was sitting at a comfortable 10 and more points for the Aussies. But the South Africans kept on fighting all the way. But when the final buzzer went, the lead was back to only 9 goals, but too little, too late. Australia won the final by 43 goals to 34, overcoming 2 defeats earlier in the week to the South Africans to take the final glory.
Ek is baie trots op my teammates. Ons het hiernatoe gekom om te wen en ek dink ons het goed gedoen. Alhoewel ons nie gewen het nie, dink ek dit was 'n goeie ondervinding en ons kan volgende jaar weer, as ons onder 21 van ons kry, kan ons dit deurtrek.
We were working with 14 very talented young ladies and allowed them to play the skill of the game, and we complemented that to the best of our ability, and that was what we felt we did.
To come through and lose the final is a bit hard sore, but the best team always wins.
Our under-18s lost 2 games. That's the first international game of netball that they've lost since the inception of the sport. So you're certainly getting there.
There was a lot of stress on the umpires. And the mantra is always to be fair and unbiased and to be consistent in your decisions. And I think we got that quite right.